How's it going, guys? I'm Samson Sees from Ross IELTS Academy, joining you now to analyze a candidate who took a mock test with us in the IELTS speaking test in Ross IELTS Academy. And we're going to see why this candidate got a 6.5 band score and what she could have done to boost that to a 7 or over. Before I go any further, have you guys liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel? You just go ahead and do that. It takes just a couple of seconds because we have lots of useful videos that could help you. Now, we're going to look into part 3 of what this candidate did when she was in her speaking test. Then we're going to analyze it and see what she could have done to improve that. Let's have a look. Okay, let's move on to part 3. So we've been talking about a course you have done that you found useful. And I'd now like to ask you some questions related to this. Okay. First, let's consider homework. Do you think it is important that children are given homework?
For all the subjects, no, because that would be tiring for them. First, they must, do different activities by their hands, and they should try to explore the things. Just writing down lots of, homeworks and boards, they don't have any benefits for them, especially for the future. They must know how to work, how to be a person that can, do something perfectly. But writing down, that would be something new, maybe.
Okay. How much homework should they be given?
It depends the subject. For example, for learning a new language, in some parts, writing is necessary. But after that, I prefer communicating, discovering new things, talking, traveling, exploring the things, but not just writing.
Okay, and do you think parents should help their children with their homework, or should it be done alone?
Of course, parents should help if they can, especially nowadays. The educational system, it's more difficult nowadays because there are lots of changes. And maybe children at a school, they cannot understand the course easily. And a mom or a dad in the atmosphere of home can help their children much better.
Right. So now we'll discuss the relationship between education and work. How important is it to have a university education to get a job in your country?
In my country, okay. Unfortunately, most of people, they are not in right places. Their university degrees and what they do, most of the time, they are really far from each other. But according to, social opinion, children are forced to go to university, and it's not useful all the time, because it's a waste of time. Instead of going to university and spending time 4 years, spending money, wasting time, I prefer learning a kind of skills can be more useful.
Okay, so
more practical.
Does having a degree from another country enhance employment opportunities in your country?
I didn't understand the question.
I'll repeat it. Does having a degree from another country enhance employment opportunities in your country?
Yes, of course, but in some situation I can say that in my country there are still some majors, they are not known, they are not known, yes. But in other countries, because they are more developed, they are more developed, and there are some new majors which are added to universities, but in Iran, yes, they are not still, they are unknown. But in some cases, yes, especially medical situation. In medical situation, yes, it's really useful that we have some students who studied abroad and now they work here.
Okay. What impacts do students who have studied abroad have on their country of origin when they come home?
First of all, we can mention impacts of culture. When a person who is studied there, of course, by coming back to their country, they are not just the knowledge which is come back to the country. The culture, maybe new traditions are added, especially in the atmosphere of family and the people around he or her, and it can have a positive effect and negative effect, and it depends the society. Are these changes are acceptable in the society or not?
Okay, thank you very much. That
You're
is
welcome.
the end of the test. So that was Saba's performance part 3 in the IELTS speaking mock test. Now, did you see how it goes? Basically, the examiner asks more challenging, longer questions, which you need to express ideas for. So you would need to have longer answers, provide explanations, and elaborate more on your answers. Now, everybody, if you didn't see the previous video of Saba talking in part 2, the cue card, you can pause this clip, go back and look at that, and then come back to this one. All right, so Saba's final band score, her overall band score was 6.5, and we want to give that a boost and help her so she could get a 7 or above. So let's have a look at her overall band score and the 4 criteria. So here we go. Fluency and coherence, she got a 7. For vocabulary, 6. Grammar, 6. Pronunciation, 7. So her overall band score ends up being 6.5. All right, so let's have a look at what Saba did in the fluency coherence of part 3. So she was keeping her flow of speech and she didn't really hesitate much. She sounded pretty natural and she had a few self-repetitions and self-corrections, but not frequent. What I would say she was doing a little bit wrong would be she was speaking too fast. She could have slowed down and she would have had less errors. It's very important to control the speed of your speech. Also, she could have used a few more boosters when starting her answers. So she could have said things like, I believe that if I were to answer this question, I would say, right, now in part 3 of the IELTS speaking mock test that Saba gave, let's have a look at her lexical resource. Now, she got a 6 in this criteria because she could have used a much wider range of vocabulary. Now, how could she have done that? She could have gone off topic and then used some of the vocabulary she was more comfortable with, given the topic that she would be more comfortable talking about. That's how she could have improved it. So let's have a look at an example to see what Saba could have done. So if I was going to ask such a question and say, does having a degree from another country enhance employment opportunities in your country? She could expand her answer by going off the topic like this. To answer this question, I should say absolutely yes. My home country is a place where people are given status by their education. Besides, parents also invest a lot of money in their kids' education because they think this is the best way to build their future. This is why I believe students can study in other countries to learn the skills that don't exist in their own country to get better job offers. For instance, many university students who study in medical fields go on exchange programs to get better job opportunities in the future. Right, now let's talk about Saba's grammatical range and accuracy. So in this criteria, she got a 6, and that could have easily been boosted to a 7, and here's why. Basically, she could have used slightly more complex structures in her grammar. Another thing is she had little errors, very simple errors that are easy to fix, and we're going to have a look at some examples of those errors and correct her. So here we go. Here's the example. She said, most of people, they are not in right places. She should have said, most people are not in the right place. Here's another error. In my country, there are some majors, they are not known. This would have been correct. In my country, there are some majors that are not known. Another mistake she made. We have some students who studied abroad. She should have said this. We have some students who have studied abroad. Last but not least, Saba's pronunciation in part 3. So she was fairly coherent and clear to understand. The problem in this part was that she had a few mispronunciations. For example, she didn't really pronounce the ends of her expressions. So she said, in some situation, instead of in some situations. So she should have said the end of that word. And she mispronounced a few words here and there, a few lapses. So there was abroad, developed, stuff like that. There you have it. We analysed a 6.5 candidate in the mock test of speaking IELTS. Now, she wasn't so bad. I mean, she was coherent enough to keep going. All she needed to do was use those boosters, avoid those grammatical errors, and sometimes go off topic. You see, it's okay to go off topic, to just keep going and continue with your ideas. It's all right to go off topic. Now, definitely, if you're interested in our courses, go onto our website. That's www.rossielts.com. There you have the bronze package, the silver, and the elaborate VIP. I hope you found this video and all the other videos, how we analyze this candidate, useful. You can see the full test of what we did with her. I hope you found it all very informative. Anyway, I'll see you next time.
Speaking course. This course is made up of 5 offline speaking